My name is Amir Samandi, and I'm the founder and executive director of Students of Service SOS. So SOS builds young leaders who have a global perspective to solve local problems, and we do that through our 3 pillars: learn, serve, and explore. So students learn about the community, the needs of the community, they learn about the world, and in the process they learn about themselves. And then they serve hands-on in the community at all kinds of agencies. We've served at over 80 different agencies here in San Antonio and served over 100,000 hours of community service. And then the Explore pillar, they have the opportunity to travel abroad, see the world, go to different places, or even have international visitors come here and meet with them here in San Antonio. And that really opens their perspective and helps them dream bigger and believe in what they're capable of achieving. Yeah, so I was a middle school teacher, and I taught in a lower income, high needs school, predominantly Hispanic school. And one of the students, a young lady, came to my desk and she said, "Sir, what's that?" She pointed at my desk. I had a brochure there, and it was a picture of the Eiffel Tower. And I said, "Well, that's the Eiffel Tower. It's in Paris." She goes, "Oh, that's beautiful. Can you take us on a field trip?" I said, "Let me show you where that is on a map." And when I showed her, she was just like so disappointed. She's like, "Oh, I'll never go. That's too far." And I said, "No, it is possible. You can go." I didn't want this child thinking that the world was that limited for her. And when I said that and I gave her a pep talk, the whole class got excited, and they're like, "Oh, really, sir? Well, take us." And so from there, I went back to the school administration and asked them if we could do it, and they said, "No, not through the school, but if I started a nonprofit, we could." And so that was the origin of how SOS got started. From that original group, we had probably about 8 of the kids that got to travel internationally, both on scholarship, and then some, who earned their way on, basically on scholarships. Background, growing up, my dad's from Iran and my mom's Mexican-American from the Valley. 2 very different places. And I grew up in the United States. I was born here, raised here, and so I think for me, the notion of intersectionality and how different aspects of my identity came into play was really beneficial for me because where I grew up as a kid, I faced a lot of racism, actually. So there was a lot of discrimination toward me, hate speech, actually, as a kid. And it was interesting because when I was in that community, I was seen as less than or an outsider, but then I would go to the Valley in the summers and I was told, "Oh yeah, you're really cool, you have all these talents." And so it kind of helped me not internalize some of the negativity that was thrown my way as a kid. And I think intuitively it helped me understand that when we move to different places and spaces, we're seen differently. And that helped me kind of realize that could help my students and that could help other people to go, okay, there's, in one environment, me speaking Spanish is seen as negative. But then if I take these kids to, let's just say, Peru or Spain, all of a sudden now it's an asset. It's a positive thing, and that can't be taken away from them. When they come back, their self-esteem is higher, their belief in what's possible is much bigger. I was part of the inaugural cohort of Social Venture Partners Fellows. It was an awesome opportunity, and I was really excited when we got started, and just to have all the different nonprofit executives in one room, learning from some of the best and brightest in our community. And it was really helpful for me at a time where I was trying to figure out how do I go from ideation and doing this as a part-time thing to getting it to go full-time. And so for about 9 years, I worked full-time in a school, and I ran Students of Service on the side as a volunteer. And I'm proud to say that now I'm a full-time paid executive director. And I think that SVP had a lot to do with getting me there. Yeah, absolutely. So, when I think back to my time with Social Venture Partners and being in the classes and learning about, no mission, no money, no mission, for example, understanding that you really have to have your budget and your financials figured out. You have to really understand how you're funding the work that you do and how that's going to stay sustainable. And I think for me, that was something that having expertise from the different accountants and advisors that came in really helped us shape up our budget and get it in a position where we could actually go and start getting funding, basically, because we showed that we had the financial stable. Yeah, and we had COVID hit, and we still were able to pivot to do the program online, and whatever we could salvage from that. But I think it was still I think it was at the time something I needed even more because of the pandemic, you know, to have that fellowship and to have that support, people I could reach out to. I think what you're going to take away from the SVP fellowship is two things. Number one, you're going to have a great network of people that you can lean on, that understand what it's like to run a nonprofit organization. It can be a very lonely position being at the top of an organization that's a nonprofit because of, you know, you're serving the community, but you're also depending on support to get you where you need to go. And at times that can be, you can feel isolated, but I think with SVP you have that fellowship, you have that support. And the other thing is the knowledge and skills that you walk away from are going to elevate you, give you more confidence, make you feel like, you know, you belong, help you get rid of that imposter syndrome, and really, you really do have what it takes to run a nonprofit and be successful. Yeah, that was an aha moment. Yeah. It's just so, it's funny thinking back because it was so, when you start to dig in the memory bank of the COVID times, you're kind of like, okay, it was a blurry time. So I don't even remember what year that was now. But yes, I think the aha moment for me was realizing that our name was confusing because when I founded the organization, it was called Summer of Service. And actually it was through not just SVP, but the support and the resources that we got through Catch a Fire subscription, which SVP was crucial in helping us get. That helped us to kind of redesign how we branded ourselves, how we named ourselves, how we showed up in the community so that people aren't confused when they hear our name. And so we rebranded to Students of Service, which has been a game changer and really helped people wrap their heads around what we do. I'm very grateful for the support we got from SVP for the Catch a Fire subscription because that allowed us to leverage a lot of expertise from around the world, from around the country and all over the world. And we ended up having a facilitator from Frankfurt, Germany, who helped us during COVID at the time that was like everyone was just on Zoom. But this person was really helpful to keep our team together at a time when everyone was kind of trying to figure out, like, are we dead in the water? I mean, we take kids around the world, we do in-person service, and everyone was trying to figure out how to respond. And it was such a critical time for us to have somebody from Germany helping us out was just like so on point for what we do, and really tied back the message that yes, not only are we going to survive, but we're needed. And this, what we do is not just extra, it's really needed to show how we connect with the rest of the world. And we even had another facilitator from Singapore who connected with me to help me with fundraising. And we stayed in touch. She gave me a lot of great pointers on how to do some, you know, digital prospecting. And I ended up meeting her in London when I traveled to London. So I got to meet somebody in real life that I had only met through Catch a Fire. But those relationships last, and being able to leverage those, I think is really helpful.